Now, local news that matters. This is CBS 17 News.
Duke versus UNC, arguably one of the biggest and greatest rivalries, not just in college basketball, but in all of sports. Good evening, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Maggie Newland.
And I'm Nick Sturdivant. And what a finale for the regular season as the Blue Devils travel to Chapel Hill for the second round of the Battle of the Blues. And right now, thousands are already flocking to Franklin Street. That's where we find CBS 17's Ben Boken live. And Ben, to say it's packed out there is probably an understatement.
All right, one thing guaranteed, it is always a good game.
And I love the confidence from that son. All right. All right, thanks, Ben. And we want to check in with CBS 17's Chris Clark, who joins us live from Greensboro.
And Chris, we know Duke and UNC are facing off at Chapel Hill, but there's a lot of other big college basketball stories making headlines as well.
There are all kinds of college basketball stories. How mad is March Madness? How crazy is it that you all in Raleigh are tossing to a guy here in Greensboro to talk about a game in Chapel Hill? Chapel Hill.
We don't try to
understand.
understand.
And look, we have that career in TV, right?
There
so there you go.
just go with the flow. Thanks, Chris. All right, a major traffic alert we have to let you know about in Raleigh tonight. DOT crews are closing Hillsborough Street at the intersection with Blue Ridge Road. Here's a look at the surrounding streets impacted and also the detours you need to know about. Once the project's complete, Blue Ridge Road will pass underneath Hillsborough, the railroad track, and Barrel Road. This project is expected to improve routes to the State Fairgrounds, Carter Finley, and PNC Arena, and it should be done next fall.
Cary police are responding to a serious crash that shut down lanes on Penny Road near the 1010 Road intersection. Around 3:30, a woman had a medical emergency, lost control of her SUV, and crashed into a tree. She and a passenger were both taken to the hospital with serious injuries. All lanes have since reopened.
The State Highway Patrol identifies the man and woman killed in a crash involving a Harnett County Sheriff's deputy.
State troopers tell us the deputy was involved in a crash Friday afternoon when his patrol car collided with a pickup truck at the intersection of Highway 210 and Ray Road.
The 65-year-old driver of the pickup, identified as Brian Finch, and his passenger Patricia Finch died. The deputy was taken to the hospital. Investigators say the suspect involved in the chase is still out there.
This evening, Cary police are investigating an overnight crash that sent a man to the hospital with serious injuries. Around 9:30, officers say a driver stopped on East Chatham Street to pick up some construction material that fell out of his vehicle. Moments later, he was hit by a passing car. Now, that driver did stop and stay at the scene and waited for police and EMS. Dozens of families from across North Carolina and beyond are in Raleigh tonight, remembering loved ones who died from fentanyl.
CBS 17's Dina Harley joins us live now from NC State's campus, where those families are demanding state officials do something to get fentanyl off the streets. Dina?
Live in Raleigh, Dina Harley, CBS 17 News.
Hearing from those families really puts things in perspective. Thanks, Dina. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, fentanyl has become the leading cause of drug overdose death for Americans 18 to 45. The Drug Enforcement Agency says most of the drugs enter the U.S. through the southern border.
The cartels in Mexico have evolved quickly, from drug cartels to transnational criminals to now terrorists like we've never seen ever. Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Hezbollah, they're not killing this amount of Americans.
The agency says more than 100,000 people die in this country annually from opioid overdoses.
CBS 17 is your local election headquarters. Republican Lieutenant Governor Mark Robinson is in Dallas, Texas tonight. He's among a number of rising stars in the GOP, speaking to the Conservative Political Action Conference this weekend. Today, Robinson addressed some of the rumors about his political future and a possible run for the governor's office in 2024.
Back home in North Carolina, one of the most poorly kept secrets is that a guy named Mark Robinson may run for governor. And I got all kind of people that want me to do that. And I got all kind of people that don't want me to do it and want to stand up and try to stop me. But here it is. I know one thing, that God, like I said, is in control. And what he has for me, no man can stop. Carolina.
And earlier this week, the lieutenant governor announced he will give the Republican response to Governor Roy Cooper's State of the State address this Monday.
Tonight, a group of doctors from Ukraine is making the long journey home after spending a week visiting hospitals in the Triangle.
They're taking what they've learned from North Carolina healthcare professionals and applying it to a Ukrainian system that has been struggling since the Russian invasion. Through the Open World program and Raleigh-based organization International Focus, the physicians stay with host families while meeting with their American counterparts. The Open World program allows thousands of people from post-Soviet era countries to visit the U.S. and interact with Americans.
A quick update to a story we first reported on CBS 17 at 11 last night. Weather issues along the flight path prompted a plane from Baltimore to RDU to divert to the airport in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. We are told another crew was brought in after the plane was refueled and the flight landed at RDU about 3 this morning. Well, thankfully, the severe storms that barreled through the Deep South weakened by the time they reached us here in central North Carolina.
But still, it's another reminder that severe weather can be a problem this time of year. Those storms are blamed for a lot of damage in other states and at least 5 deaths.
And with Severe Weather Preparedness Week coming up, Storm Team meteorologist Lance Blocker is talking about the seasonal threats we could see as we head towards spring.
In March of 2020.
So important to think about.
But look at that sunrise, or that sunset. I was about to say sunrise, sunset.
Yeah, let's not throw this beautiful day away just yet. But yeah, as the sun starts to set on Goldsboro again.
Well, a new business is not only providing sweet treats in the town of Cary, but a major support for the community.
Howdy Homemade Ice Cream isn't your typical ice cream shop. Our Haley Fixler took a visit to the place filled with big smiles and heroes.
A brightly colored Haley Fixler, CBS 17 News.
Oh, it looks like a great place. Lynn hopes to open a few more locations around the Triangle. No timeline yet, but he says Raleigh is up next. Sounds perfect.
Some encouraging news this evening surrounding the future of the Will Skating Center. The 40-year-old park closed in 2020 and at one point was used as a COVID vaccination clinic. The city is working to hire a firm to renovate the facility and bring everything up to code to reopen. Crews are scheduled to begin 5 months of construction this fall and estimate reopening the skating rink by next spring.
Some tense moments for a family out snowmobiling in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, you got to see this. Jeremiah Bigelow and his family were enjoying the great outdoors in eastern Idaho when a moose cut between them. He and his brother thought the giant animal might walk on by, but nope. The moose had other ideas and charged them. Well, fortunately, neither brother or the moose was hurt, but their snowmobile did take a beating. Jeremiah admits he and his brother should have given the animal some space.
Gosh, you know, when I lived in Minneapolis and we were up in northern Minnesota, I always hoped we'd see a moose on the road. I think I'm glad we didn't.
They're huge.
They're huge.
I have nothing to say. I'm speechless.
All I'm going to say is my aunt and uncle lived in Alaska for a while. My uncle was chased by a bear once accidentally.
Yikes.
And he said he was more scared of the moose. So I'm just going to throw that little bit of information out there. Anyway, we had a beautiful day. No snow here, of course. You didn't need to get the snowmobile or anything out like that. Do we even have those in North Carolina? Maybe in the mountains, but not here in central North Carolina. But maybe you're able to spend some time out on the water. I mean, look at Hyco Lake in Person County. We had mainly clear skies throughout the day. Nice calm waters now as the winds have started to calm down. But as our winds calm down, skies clear, sun sets, temperatures are dropping quickly. It is 54 degrees again.